can you imagine getting busted in the Walmart parking lot, your trunk open, doing some kind of shady looking deal? Meanwhile, all you're doing is buying exhaust for your Harley Davidson. Motorcycle community will argue about any and everything. What brand of bike is better? What style of bike is better? What you should do to your bike? What you shouldn't do to your bike? But there's two things I think we can all agree on. The first being it should be your right to modify your bike in any way that you see fit. And number two, the government has their nose in enough of our business. We don't need to add our motorcycles to that list. Now, what is this all about and who's to blame? So first and foremost is the government, more so the EPA. Next on the list would be part suppliers, specifically drag specialties, and I don't mean to single them out, but this is the one that's been pointed out to me. This is the one that I've personally looked into, so if there's more on this list, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know, because they need to be included in this conversation. Now, for those that don't know, Drag Specialties is one of, if not the biggest parts distributors for both mom and pop motorcycle shops as well as all major dealerships. Now, here's a look at what's inside their 2024 parts catalog. Feel free to pause this video so that you can read the whole thing, but I'm gonna read to you guys the parts that stuck out to me the most. You, as the sailing retailer, expressly acknowledge and assume the responsibility for ensuring and documenting to verify that the sale or installation of every race-only part is for competition racing vehicle use only. Examples of such documentation include: require that the buyer sign and acknowledge that the part is for race use only. The acknowledgement would contain enough information, i.e. invoice number, purchase date, purchaser name, part number, etc., to be able to track the part to its ultimate installation. Evidence that the vehicle is not registered in any state for highway use. The detailed owner or operator information and vehicle VIN are recorded. The vehicle is being used in only closed course competitions events. So if that doesn't make it very clear, I'll break it down for you. Drag Specialties wants your dealership to fill out a form saying that they will comply with those demands, send it back into Drag, so now Drag gets to wash their hands of anything that they do. Your dealership is now responsible for any race-only parts that are installed on your bike, and they are to record your name and the VIN number that this bike is going on. They are also to ensure that you do not use that bike in any way, shape, or form other than race use only. Closed course, no road riding. How on earth would a dealership do that, for one? And number two, why in the world would a dealership do that? What you hire them to do is put parts on your bike, not tell you where that bike can and can't be ridden. Now, to all those people, it's not a problem for me because I do my own work. First of all, more power to you. Also, respect. But where are you going to buy those parts from? Because if Drag does this, if dealerships do this, if all online retailers do this, and there are companies going full EPA compliant, we won't call them out, we won't single them out, but I bet a lot of you know them already. Where will you buy these parts that you're going to be putting on your bike? I guess, maybe they'll become a black market for performance motorcycle parts. Can you imagine getting busted in the Walmart parking lot, your trunk open, doing some kind of shady looking deal? Meanwhile, all you're doing is buying exhaust for your Harley Davidson. It seems silly to think about, but I truly think that's the direction that all of this is headed. Now, I know what Drag Specialties would likely say, and Drag, if you see this, I would love to speak to someone inside of your organization and we can do a follow-up video on this. But if I had to guess, it would go something like, there's nothing we can do, our hands are tied, they're forcing us to do this. Now, the problem with that is once Drag follows suit with that, then it's your local dealership. So when you go in to go do something to your bike, they're gonna give you that same line. We have no option, our hands are tied, they're forcing us to do this. So what can we do? Well, first of all, we could stand together as a motorcycle community for once on something that I think we would all agree on, and that's gonna start with the distributors like Drag Specialties. Next comes the dealerships. Then comes us, the final end consumer. We all have to stand together and say, hey, None of us are on board with this. None of us are gonna do this. Now I wanna share something that Mike Beelan from A1 Cycles put out. A1 Cycles is probably one of the most well-respected performance shops around, and this is what he had to say about it.
Morning, guys. Just want to have a little technical discussion with all my dealers and customers. We've been dealing with Drag Specialties for 27 years in business. Great company, always had our back. We're going to bring our attention to page 6 and page 7 of the new Fat Book. Important information, sale of race-only parts. If you fill this form out, if you follow these directions, I do not want you for a customer. And I'm sorry to say that if they actually enforce this policy, that's what's going to happen to Drag Specialties catalog in my shop.
So Mike is taking a stand. I'm gonna do my part to take a stand, and I hope that all of you will do the same. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. Subscribe if you're not already. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.